The market is getting clobbered right now as the United States just got its first credit downgrade in 12 years. This is a horrible sign. In today's video, we're going to cover the nasty warning signs that we are seeing flash all over the place in the market right now. And you might not even believe this, but we have a current U.S. Senator literally shorting the market and profiting from all of the chaos we are seeing right now. If you pick one video to watch to the end all month long, do yourself a favor and make sure it's this one. We have a lot to talk about today, and there is stuff happening that, I'll say it this way, does not happen very often, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So, Tom, let's jump right into today's episode.
Yeah, last night in After Hours, Mike, we saw AMD flying up, and of course, right after we post the video, we got that humongous news with Fitch with the downgrade. And man, the SPY took a big hit in After Hours last night and this morning. And we've actually been talking about a trend line or a trend that the SPY's been kind of following to the upside here for a while now. We actually had a big break right below that today. And it's actually not just SPY breaking these big trends either. We saw NVIDIA break their huge trend too. There's been multiple hits along that one. Now today, finally got a big move. Now, will this hold up over the next few days? It's going to be tough to say, Mike. You know, we have a lot going on with earnings. Obviously, Apple and Amazon are reporting, but so far, this is a bloody start to August. You know, we had August 1st was starting things off a little bit bloody yesterday, and then today we had that big continuation to the downside. So I am very worried about the market going forward, Mike. But hey, this is going to make some great opportunities going forward, like SQQQ, SPXS. We've been talking about these stocks a lot for about a week now, and they are starting to really pop off. Like, look at SQQQ today, exploding all the way up to 1830, moving up 6.5%. Like, let's go for all the SQQQ traders today. Comment down below if you guys made some profits on some of this downtrend.
I know a lot of people did, that's for sure. But let's talk more about why the market is just falling off like it is. Long story short, the United States just got downgraded by Fitch, and essentially the way it works is when everyone around the world looks at the United States, they look at the United States in a way that basically says, hey, you're never going to default on your debt, and we all resort to you when times get bad. But the problem is that they just got downgraded today, and it's, you know, they still have a very high rating, but it's just like a downgrade on the United States. That is not good at all. And the last time this happened was in August of 2011. And when that happened, the market sold off a decent amount. But long story short, we're seeing this downgrade. It's just a bad thing for the market. It's a bad thing for the United States. It'll make the interest payments more expensive as well. So overall, it's just really bad news in basically whichever way you look at it. And I think that's pretty clear when we look at the market today.
Yeah, definitely. And you can tell like Microsoft, Apple, all those big stocks in the market reacted in a terrible, terrible way. And I would expect, Mike, that a lot of the big hedge funds, a lot of the big banks, stuff like that are looking at this news right now and they're like really scratching their head like, hey, like we might actually see some pullbacks coming in. And I expect a lot of people to possibly start to take profit here. You know, we're heading into August and September, which are historically two of the worst months for the market over the past like 70 or so years. And that's a pretty big statement. So I'm definitely going to be continuing to watch these stocks to the downside, Mike. That downgrade with Fitch was very, very important. I think that was very underrated today. I know a lot of people were still looking at AMD, a lot of stocks like that, and they're really confused because AMD was popping off at first. But then, man, whenever these tech stocks sold off, AMD came crashing down. It's almost as bad as, well, worse than a lot of the other stocks out there, down 7% on the day.
It was nasty. And Tom, while we're at the charts, why don't we take a trip back 12 years ago, all the way back to 2011. So on August 5th of 2011, that is when the last downgrade happened. And you can just tell by how far Tom is scrolling back, you know, it was a while ago, right? It shows you how important this event is. When the downgrade happened, the market sold off for some time. Like, you know, these weren't like small red days either. Like, it was some nasty, hardcore, violent selling pressure, and it hurt a lot of people, you know, but it also helped a lot of people who positioned themselves in the right way. But, you know, looking at the charts, you know, it was not a good sight.
Yeah, and from high to low there, that pullback was over 20% there during that time. And could you imagine a 20% pullback right now out of the SPY? Let's actually see where that would put us. Just, I know it might not really be 20%, but let's just say it was 20% just for the sake of things, right? That would put us all the way back down to like 360 to 362, which is actually down around a major support from just last year. So that would be pretty crazy. I don't think we're going to pull back 20% maybe, but that is a scary thing to see that a credit downgrade like that for the U.S. caused that move last time. And, you know, considering we're breaking out of the channel and there's so many tech stocks overextended, it's going to be very fun for the put players, I think, for the next few weeks, and even the call buyers on SQQQ.
Exactly, and you know I am pretty bearish for the market for the short term, not just because of this downgrade, but for a lot of other reasons too. Of course, a lot of stocks are overbought right now, but basically whatever data you look at, it kind of favors the bears. So, for example, we have this one chart showing some consolidation that we normally see in the current market environment. So, basically what we can see in the chart right now is the average year for the S&P 500 when it's up by 5 or more than 5% in January. In this exact time frame that we're in right now, from basically August to like November, the market tends to just struggle. It's not like beyond horrible, but it sure isn't too good. And that's just like another case that, is just not good to see.
Yeah, and it does look like, though, like towards the end of the year, we do actually start to come back and even like break higher. But you're right, during that time there, especially like October onwards into November, there is a big downtrend, at least historically there. So that's very important to see. And we actually looked at a chart just the other day that showed that, the beginning of August was historically pretty bad. And what have we seen so far? Historically, a pretty bad first couple days. So I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on some of this data, Mike. These charts are awesome. Let us know in the comments down below if you enjoy these. They're so much fun to see, and they've been actually playing out pretty well a lot lately with some of the historical moves.
Big time. And another scary thing too, Tom, is margin debt is even on the rise. So like basically what we could see is as the market had this awesome run up over the past year, a bunch of people got FOMO, fear of missing out, and they started buying back in, which is fine, but some people are getting a little bit too greedy and they might get caught with their pants down. So basically we're seeing margin debt increase with the market right now, and what that means and why it's so scary is because if the market does fall down more, that'll make them more eager to sell because they're literally taking loans to buy the market or buy stocks. But another thing too is if the market falls too much, these margin debt people, you can say, can actually be forced to sell, making the market fall down even more.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a really tough thing for the market, Mike, because, a lot of people right now are I should say right now, it's probably fine, right? Like a lot of stocks are still high. People are probably happy with that. Some of the long-term accounts are doing great, like with Nvidia, even AMD, other stocks like that. They've been recovering up great, like even DraftKings here. But if these stocks start to fall down, that could actually hurt a lot of accounts. And imagine, Mike, we've been going on this nice uptrend. A lot of people might be buying in too much, eating up that margin. They start to drop, getting margin calls. I've seen it in Discord even. It's happened a few times lately. So it's going to be crazy, especially as the market falls. And it's, that's almost kind of like a squeeze in its own right, Mike. In a way, it's not like a short squeeze where it's pushing something to the upside, but rather to the downside with margin there.
We'll call it a margin squeeze.
Yeah, it's actually a fitting name, actually.
Let's do it. All right. Well, another thing that I saw a lot of people have been watching lately is how scarily similar this year's market performance is to the market performance of 2019. Basically, in the blue line, we see this year's market. In the red line, we see the market in 2019. So far, they've been following each other very closely. And guess what happened in 2019? A sell-off right around where we are right now, and it was like a 6% drop from the high to low. And I guess if you want to worry about another thing, here it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just another piece of information suggesting a downtrend here coming into like August and September. So I am definitely worried, Mike. Definitely not a good sign again. And just, I don't want to sound like the Grim Reaper here, but man, with the way the market's been lately, some of these downtrends have been a long time coming. And at least today, it was fun to play it down. We'll have to see, though, how these earnings go the next few days. I'm actually a little bit worried that, like, Apple and some of these other stocks, if they have good reports, could maybe fake everybody out here.
That's a whole nother topic, and don't worry, we'll crack into it in just a couple minutes. But Tom, you're not even going to believe this, and I'm kind of like sad to even be saying this, but some data came out today showing that we have a current U.S. senator literally shorting the market. Like, literally, it is in his financial interest that the market falls. And that is Tom Carper. He's a senator out of Delaware, and he basically bought PSQ, right? And PSQ goes up when the NASDAQ goes down. So, obviously, that's like a pretty big conflict of interest. Like, how is this even legal is my question. Like, if you are, like, trying to serve the country, like, you shouldn't be able to short that. You should not be able to profit off of the country you are serving from having their stocks fall. Like, am I crazy or what? Like, let me know in the comments down below. But, take this news how you want.
Yeah, and I feel like, senators and stuff like that, I do feel like that they should be allowed to trade in some ways, like maybe like buy and holds, like where they're forced to hold for like multiple years or something like that. And, maybe they get taxed at a little bit higher rate. I don't know, come up with something for it. But at the end of the day, to see these senators just continue to do this, Mike, is insane. And to specifically short the market is something a little bit different. Like I said, if you were like longing the market over multiple years with shares or something, fine. But for them to be buying PSQ, that is pretty scary. And I don't know what the feds, if they're planning to do something there in Congress, or if there's going to be some weird bills going through, or if they know something. And, Mike, as we always say, they get access to so much information. Why would he do this just off of a whim, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. And we can sit here and cry about, how it's BS how he's doing this, or we can look at it from like a trader's point of view. It's like, obviously he would not be buying PSQ if he didn't think that, the market would fall, so he's clearly bearish. And, again, that just further supports the pullback trading setup, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. PSQ is a stock kind of like SQQQ, kind of like other stocks like that. It looks like it does decay over time and like in the long term and stuff like that, obviously. And it's even had some reverse splits, but it does go up a lot in times of market downtrend. Even it looks like, 50% plus in some cases, depending on how bad it is. But this could be a good sign for especially SQQQ traders and even put players. We've had a lot of people lately waiting for some of these downtrends to start. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily the top yet, but if some of these earnings go south here like Apple and we don't get good movement, it might just be time finally.
Yeah, and speaking of Apple, Tom, they report earnings in, actually tomorrow. I was going to say a couple days, but they report earnings tomorrow. What do we have on the schedule for earnings, not only for tomorrow, but today?
Yeah, today, in after hours, we actually have PayPal, Shopify, Qualcomm, Oxy. I've seen a lot of these stocks moving already. They're going all over the place. Tomorrow, though, Budweiser in the morning, AB InBev. That's going to be a fun one. Ticker symbol BUD. They've had all those boycotts and stuff like that. You guys can sound off in the comments how you feel about that. I don't want to get into that, Mike. We're going to get in trouble. But in after hours, we have Amazon, Apple, Coinbase. Like, it is going to be a huge day tomorrow. Even Square, Airbnb, DraftKings, one of my favorites mixed in there. It is going to be a big day, especially for me with DraftKings. Like, that's probably one of my favorites of the week there. But as we know, Apple could change the course of everything this week along with Amazon. Like, if these earnings are good, man, forget that downtrend today.
Yeah, but at the same time, even if the earnings are all right, if the market just has other plans, they could, they could struggle. Like, for example, looking at AMD on an intraday chart is like one of the biggest rejections I've seen in a while, because AMD isn't just some little tiny stock that barely moves. Like, this stock has a ton of money and a ton of liquidity around it all the time. And, they were running to the upside in a good way yesterday and after hours. But by the time the market opened, it was literally like a complete tsunami of sellers just forcing it down almost every single minute. So it's like, that's another thing to be careful of tomorrow with Amazon and Apple earnings, because let's say they try and run up, it all depends on the market overall's sentiment too.
Yeah, exactly. And like some of them might like run up in after hours a little bit, touch some resistances, like you said, and then come right back down. I could see that being a total possibility. And it's going to be a crazy week here. I'm really hoping that we get some nice continuations, honestly, out of the SPY to the downside. Some of these other stocks as they break their trends. Like some of these trends we've been watching lately have been pretty huge and they've held up pretty well. So to see them finally breaking is great. And even right now in after hours, look at that. SPY's heading back down again. I wonder where we're going to open up tomorrow. Hopefully not around 448. That would be pretty nuts.
That would be tough. But with that being said, let's jump right into some of the setups for tomorrow. And one stock I'm watching very closely, I probably don't even have to name it. I'm sure a lot of our viewers already know, but that is UVXY. UVXY goes up when panic is rising in the markets. When stocks are going down, UVXY goes up. UVXY had an amazing day today, and if we see the same sentiment that we saw today in the market tomorrow, this thing can just keep on going. So it's on my watch list for a move up tomorrow. But again, we need that same sentiment. If we open up and the market's up 3%, then it's like maybe you don't want to play UVXY.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you see some crazy momentum it open to the downside or something. That's the main thing with this. It really flies up during those times of momentum. Look at those moves it opened today. Just amazing. And 13%, geez, that big gap this morning was insane as well. I love these type of stocks, Mike. UVXY, SQQQ, anything like this, they start to really go off during these times. And I know we've talked about it a lot. NVIDIA, I got to bring it up, Mike. It's one of the bigger stocks that we've been waiting for to the downside. Broke a big trend line just like the SPY, and how could you not mention it? It's actually sitting right around support as well, around 434. So if we can get back under there tomorrow, definitely look at some more puts. I feel like there's a lot more selling pressure in store for these semiconductors.
Yep, I'm with you. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is AMD. So, Tom, I'm definitely with you then.
Yeah, for sure.
So AMD, I'm watching it to the downside. It had a brutal rejection today. I would like to see a break of the low of day today, which is right around that $107, and we'll call it 40-cent area, but give or take 20 cents, because these stocks are volatile. But yeah, I'm watching it to the downside.
Yeah, I could see this being amazing. AMD, NVIDIA, Meta even. I mean, there's a lot of tech stocks right now that are just so overextended. I feel like they are due to come down, and I feel like today something happened in the market, Mike. I don't know if there was algos or if it was just a total sentiment change or what happened, but that was nasty with what the events that occurred today. And, talking about just nasty stocks here, Microsoft. They have been lagging actually for a couple weeks now, falling under some trends, really coming down ever since July 18th. That's the last high there. So I'll be watching for them to fall under 325. They're right around that big support. If they get under there, I'll look for more puts. And it looks like in after hours, they're even going to be heading back towards those lows sometime soon even.
That's tough. Alrighty, well, it's now time for those momentum plays. And with the first one, we have AI to the downside.
AI has been killing it lately. AI, all those types of stocks have had a great move lately with all the AI craze. If they get back under that low of day right around 38.40, go ahead and look at puts. Give or take about, 10 cents on this one, though.
All right, with the next one, we are watching Microsoft also to the downside.
Good old Microsoft. Go ahead and make them break below 325, just under that low of day right there around 326.
And with the last one, we have BABA for both directions.
BABA, China stocks, right? They're going all over the place right now. If they actually break their low of day right around 94.50, go ahead and look at puts. But if they break above this kind of double top here right around 95.60, then look at some calls.
Alrighty, so we have the upside level for calls, the downside level for puts. Don't forget about Microsoft to the downside as well. only if they break below that lower level. And then, of course, don't forget about AI to the downside as well if they break below their lower level. But Tom, we have to showcase the amazing bot plays from today. If you guys are into short-term trading, you have to check this out. Our bots absolutely crushed it today. We'll start out with the QQQ play. QQQ 379 strike puts were alerted at $338. By the end of the day, they were trading for $639 each. And the UVXY play was also really awesome. UVXY calls were alerted at $81. By the end of the day, they were traded for $153. Of course, not every single play wins. There's no strategy, no software, no person, even Warren Buffett that wins 100% of the time, but the bots do damn good, and yeah, they killed it today. So if you want access, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Both of today's plays were spot on. Not only will you get access to the bot plays, but you could chat with Tom and myself all day long. You get access to option screeners like SM Bot. You get access to multi-million-dollar hedge fund trades every single day. Swing plays, long-term plays, more stuff than we could even name in this video. So if you want in on the action, definitely check it out. And Tom, while we're in the Discord, we might as well give a huge shout out to today's Member of the Day, Fama, who crushed it today. But not only that, he celebrated by getting a victory burrito. Let's go. So huge shout out to Fama. Awesome job. And that victory burrito looks pretty good.
Yeah, it really does, man. I got to go get me one of those tomorrow with another nice victory if these stocks continue down. But great job, Fama. You know, great job posting up those profits, and I think it's a great inspiration for people. So good job. Let's go, and let's hopefully have some more burritos tomorrow.
Tom, we got to do that. Like, when we have, like, amazing days in the market, we just all have to get a burrito, you know, to celebrate.
Yeah, and honestly, that's perfect. Yeah, hop in the Discord, guys. Come get burritos with us. The link's down below. You know, let's hype it up.
Let's go. So, good stuff there. But it is now time for that big money trade of today. We are looking at MS. Someone dumped $1,050,000 into the MS 90 strike put options that expire on December 15th of 2023. MS is Morgan Stanley. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of them before. They're a big bank stock. These put options are in the money. They have some time to them. Overall, decent setup. I like shorting tech stocks more than bank stocks right now, but this play can definitely work out. They're definitely bearish on MS. The more MS falls, the more millions they'll make, and it's definitely not a bad setup.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not. You know, MS is one of those stocks that it's a bank stock, right? You know, you would think that banks like would hold up pretty good, but then again, like if we do have like pretty tight conditions, maybe that could hurt banks a little bit. And, you know, conditions have been tightening as far as credit goes and stuff like that. So I wonder if maybe that plays a role. But overall, I'm definitely going to watch this play very closely. Like you said, it's in the money. It has some time out to December. And I do think that maybe, you know, over the next few months, maybe MS comes down and tests like $85, $86. That would be great for this put play. These guys don't have to necessarily hold this till this stock goes down to like $50 or anything crazy like that. You know, it could just go down to like 85. They'd probably make like a nice solid like 20 to 50%, something like that on these puts.
Yeah, or even more, you know, depending on premium. So great stuff there. But Tom, I am so excited for this market. I love this type of volatility. I love this action because in these market times, that's when you see like some crazy options move. And I'm not talking about like, you know, 200%. Like I'm talking about like 500, 700, 1,000% moves, sometimes over the course of one day or even a couple days. So I am pumped up. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice. Do you guys, or I should say, Tom, do you have any last minute thoughts or anything else you're watching for tomorrow?
Man, just keep your eyes on some of these ETFs that short the market. SQQQ, UVXY, SPXS. I know we've said it a few times, but they are going to, well, they look like right now like they're having a lot of momentum. And if this continues tomorrow, this will be a fantastic opportunity. And Mike, even though, you know, I know there's been a lot of call buying lately, I know we keep saying this, keep your heads high. I think that right now, if we start to shift into puts, start to get on this downtrend, we can all make some money together. Now, you know, obviously we have to go on this this journey very carefully, but if we calculate risk right, we could probably make some money over this time where the market pulls back, and just start buying into long-term stocks once they get low. So it's getting fun, Mike. Like you said, we're getting some big moves, and we're going to have a lot of opportunities, in my opinion, over the next few weeks.
Beautiful. So that's why you guys should subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, when you subscribe, you'll see our videos recommended to you more often. It costs you nothing to do, and why don't you want to see our videos more often? So definitely destroy that subscribe button. We're pumped up. The next couple days and weeks are going to be super exciting for the market. If you want in on our options action with the bots and all that good stuff, make sure to check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Maybe you'll grab a couple victory burritos, but good stuff overall. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's have an awesome day in the markets tomorrow.